Hey, so listen, are you watching this video and you know that there's something that you need to tap out on so that you can tap in to the next level? If so, stick around. Hey, I'm Dr. G and welcome to Faith, Family, and Pediatrics for my busy working mamas, sisters, and friends. I am so excited to announce to everyone that we are getting ready to launch Pillow Talk for Girls, Puberty, Power, and Purpose Round 2. So click the description in the box for more info on that. More about that later. So, okay, first of all, if y'all hear dogs, we have puppies now. They're Penny and Pam. There's some mixed breed dogs that we adopted from the pound. I literally just let them out their crates so they could go outside and potty, gave them some treats, and they hear us talking. So of course they are crying. So once I get done, I promise I'm gonna go and let them back out and play and do all the things, and then we'll keep it moving. So you gotta tap out of some things to tap in, and that's what this video is about. What do I mean by that? In other words, sometimes we just gotta let some things go before we can have capacity to tap into our greater. And that is what this video is about. We gotta tap out of some things before we can tap into some things. And this is so important. When we were younger in our marriage and we had purchased this property, I'll never forget something that my father-in-law said to us. He was like, don't overload your wagon. And because I'm a visual learner, that really stuck out to me because I visualized myself pulling this wagon and visualized myself pulling a heavy wagon. And you realize how difficult it is to pull the weight of something that is overloaded. That's some wisdom that I will never ever forget, like years later. It's still on my mind. It's something that I hope that I can impart to my own children as well. The whole point of this is that sometimes we gotta unload our wagons and we gotta tap out of some things so that we could tap into it. And it's been part of my quest with this channel to make sure that we are intentional about spending time in the presence of the Lord, at least 10 minutes at a time, because even though I'm a pediatrician, I'm a child of the Lord, and He called me into pediatrics. And so that's one of my kingdom assignments here on earth. And it's important for me to make sure that I am in fellowship, that I am daily communing with our Heavenly Father so that I can hear what He wants me to do and what direction He wants me to take in His YouTube videos, in my pediatric practice. No matter what I put my hands to, I want to make sure that it's something that I hear from the Lord from, and that He ordains and gives me the green light to keep pushing forward. And I pray that same prayer for you. Now, my voice is scratchy before we get into this tap out, tap in, so my apologies. I mean, Lord, this video, between Penny and Pam crying, the background noise, and the scratchiness, I'm sorry. So in my quest to read and remain in the presence of the Lord, I thought about the children of Israel, and they were in bondage. And we know that Egypt, when they were in Egypt, and Egypt represents the world. So out here in this world, there can be a lot of bondage. We can have spiritual bondage, maybe we don't have a full revelation of what Jesus has done for us and we're still spiritually bound. We may be mentally exhausted and in bondage. We may be struggling professionally, and that was me, and all of these represent bondages. All of these represent wagons that are overloaded. And so I wanted to talk about that because before we can really tap in to what God has for us and to walk fully in the purpose and the plan He has for our lives, we are going to have to let go of some things. We are going to have to shed off some weight that we need to let go of. We are physically going to have to unload our wagons. So just briefly pause and close your eyes and imagine yourself pulling a wagon that's full of bricks or full of these heavy weights. Imagine yourself trying to pull that thing and how difficult it will be for you to do that. Now open your eyes and imagine yourself unloading that wagon. And as you unload that wagon, you realize when you go and try to pull again that you can really keep moving on through here because you have offloaded all of the things, all of the sin, all of the bondages that can easily knock us off track. For me, it was a lot of professional bondage. It was a lot of people pleasing. It was a lot of all those things. And at certain points in my life, it was just frank sin, things that I was involved in that I knew God did not want me to be involved in. And it's so important for us to investigate this and peel this back, because we are the light for the next generation. Our young ladies need to see us walking in a healthy state, walking toward God's best for us, walking toward his purpose and plans for our lives. Our sons need to see this as well. So if you're a parent and you're watching this video, part of Pillow Talk for Girls is power and purpose, and helping girls develop power tools for them to succeed. Now, of course, I'm a pediatrician, and my goal is to do all of this in combination with introducing puberty, so that girls don't think it's taboo, so that they're not afraid and they can handle puberty like the boss they were born to be. But the goal is for them to handle life like the boss they were born to be too. And one of the ways we can do this is by showing them the importance of letting go of those things that may be weighing us down and preventing forward motion in our lives. So we got to tap out before we tap in. And so once we make the decision to tap out, some of you watching this video may say, Gretchen, yeah, that sounds real good, everything you're saying, but it's easier said than done. Sis, I get you. That's why it's so important for us to spend time in the presence of the Lord, because when we do, he will guide us. Not only will he guide us, he will direct us. He will show us those things that we need to let go of. Not only will he show us what we need to do, he will even give us wisdom on how to do it. And not only that, he will send us the help that we need to get on through here and unload our wagons so that we can move forward. So back to the children of Israel. We know that they were in bondage. They were subjected to some harsh conditions, working sun up to sundown. Those slave masters were driving them. Now, of course, we're not the children of Israel and we're not in Egypt, but we are children of the Lord, right? And we are in the world, which represents Egypt. There really are some things that has us bound. Some of those things may be social media. Again, some of them may be spiritual bondage, mental exhaustion, people pleasing, comparison trap. I could go on and on. My goal is to keep these videos at 10 minutes, but you get what I'm saying. What ended up happening with the children of Israel is that they cried out to the Lord, and the Lord heard their cry, and he sent Moses to Pharaoh, and he said to let my people go. Now, y'all know the story, and you know that Pharaoh wasn't trying to let the people go, right? And that's why the Lord sent those 10 plagues. And now that we are here living now in this world, and there are so many bondages, one of the first things we need to do, like the children of Israel, so that we could, tap out to tap in, is we got to cry out to the Lord. And if you're watching this video, that's why it's so important for us to spend time with the Lord. That's why it's important for me, to spend time with the presence of the Lord. And that is why I am here to encourage you to do the same thing. If you find yourself in some type of bondage, if you feel like your wagon is overloaded, maybe it's financially, maybe you've just overextended yourself professionally, maybe you are involved in every club and organization that there is, and you're like, wait, I'm spreading myself too thin. Whatever it is, cry out to the Lord today, sister. And if you are younger, if you're one of my future Pillow Talk girls watching this video, it's so important for us to cry out to the Lord. He is real, and we have a helper in him. And when we talk to him, he will guide us. He will lead us. You may be reading something, you're like, oh my God, that's my answer. Or he is so sweet, he may send someone along your path to give you the answer that you need to the problem that you have. He works in ways that will blow our minds if you just let him. So the first thing to do is to cry out to him. Just like the children of Israel, the Lord sent a helper. I I want to really talk about Moses and his leadership. And in talking about him, it's so important for all of us to realize that we need help. God did not put us on this earth to live this life alone. And he will send us leaders. He will send us guides. There may be an older young lady, if you're a teenager watching this video, who can guide you. Our pastors, our spiritual leaders, to give us insight and focus on the steps that we need to take to get out of Egypt, to unload our wagons and move to the next step. And so it's so important that you seek the help that you need. For some of you watching this video, it honestly may be that you need therapy. You may need to seek the help of a counselor. And if you are school age, go to your school counselor, go to your teacher, go to a trusted adult that can help you move through here. Again, the whole point of Pillow Talk for Girls, mamas, and my sisters and friends, let me just kind of interject Pillow Talk in here, is that they need to learn these things early. I didn't learn it early, I'll be honest with you, and I honestly had to backtrack. But I tell you that all of those experiences are definitely something that I know was something that I needed as part of my purpose and plan, so that I could be a light for the next generation. And I'm asking you, mamas, sisters, friends, to think about that, so that we can all join together collectively and be a light for the next generation. And we do that by getting the help we need in unloading the wagon that we need to unload in our lives, okay? Gotta tap it out. We gotta get it out. Tap it out so that we can tap into our next. Now, when we go on this journey of tapping out to tap in, to unload our wagon so that we can have some forward motion and fulfill the purpose and the plan that the Lord has called us in, we go through this wilderness season. And we know the children of Israel, before they reached the promised land, they went through this wilderness season. They were no longer in the bondage of Egypt, no longer under those slave masters, but they were just in wilderness, this in-between state. So as we're going into this wilderness season, and we're like, okay, God, I'm no longer where I was, but I'm not where I want to be. I hadn't quite reached the promised land. So what do I need to do in the wilderness season? And you already know, 10 minutes at a time in the presence of the Lord is so important, because you know what? He will guide us in our wilderness seasons. You know, God provided, you know, everything they need. The light that they needed, the food that they needed, the protection that they needed. God did that for them until they eventually got to their promised land. As you're watching this video today, I pray that you will allow God to be your daily bread. Allow God to be your manna. Allow God to be that light for you. Let him be that fire by night that you need. He will continue to push you toward your purpose, but you gotta move and understand that the wilderness season is gonna look different from the world. But hang on, because guess what? You're gonna get to the promised land. So if you're watching this video, I wanna end it like this. Keep moving. But to keep moving, you gotta unload your wagon. And when you do, you can tap out of all of those things that are distracting you, that are weighing you down, and tap into forward motion in your purpose. Now, if this video has been a blessing to you, please like, subscribe, and share it with another busy mama, sister, friend, or teenager, preteen who may need this encouragement as well. And I will see you in the next video. But before, y'all, make sure you click the link in the description box and sign up for Pillow Talk for Girls Puberty, Power, and Purpose. It's our email list, and I will keep you updated on when we're gonna launch Pillow Talk for Girls Second Go Again. Yes, I'm excited about it. I've been working really hard on it, and I am excited to provide this experience for you and your queen. Talk to you later. Bye now.